Speaking of strong leaders, the next gentleman that I want to talk about is someone that we spoke with uh, earlier last year when he was Chief Strategy Officer at Katun, and I'm
Right.
talking about Chenyi Chiu, and now he's been elevated to the CEO role. So I know he was at our gala, and you've had a chance to sit and talk with him.
I certainly did, and uh, I had a great visit with him. This guy, I was sincerely impressed when we did the Fridays with Frank with him.
Mhm.
I mean, the way he seemed to have a good handle on things. And I think he's going to do some interesting things because he appears open to listening to different thoughts,
Mhm.
different ways. And anytime you meet a person, particularly who comes from another country, that is understanding what you're saying, you got a winner because he's receptive, he's listening. I'm not saying everything that is going to be suggested to him he should embrace, but he'll be aware where the value is. And then, of course, Kay Fernandez, who is the lead marketing person, is a real old friend of ours. Goes back to the days when she was at Toshiba, uh, and was one of the first ladies on a cover for a magazine. So we
Right.
know we know Kay a long time, and she's another person very well equipped to support people like Chenyi Chiu, who I think is a real find for Caden.
Well, Frank, back on the dealer side of things, we included in our coverage, our watch list this year, a list of like 20 next gen, so to speak, dealers, and one of the people on that list was Dan Doyle Jr. over at DEX Imaging, and this is timely because they just recently, in the past few weeks, announced that they're acquiring three dealers. I think one down in Georgia, one in South Florida, and another one up in Maryland.
Right.
Um, so let's talk about Dan and Dan Jr. and Dex for a few minutes.
Sure. Well, listen, you're talking about a young man who has been the beneficiary of having a father who has done it all. I mean, most of the people that are still in the business really can appreciate what Dan was the first one that ever took out a plain paper copier to a dealer in 1972. All right. That was developed by Kunishiroko Konica and a paper company, typewriter company in Hartford, Connecticut, private label that was called Royal Bond Copier Number One. Uh, and Danny was so inventive and aggressive in a marketing sense. And I think he's communicated that well to Dan Jr. And of course, Dan has his own feelings about the business, but because obviously uh, he's learned from his father, he's seen what they've done. What haven't they done? I mean, I can't conceive of a challenge that they will face and say, "Oh, this is something new." Uh, they're out there acquiring and still believe that this is the way, as you indicated, uh, the way to go. And some people might question that, but I don't. If they see the value in it, it's there. They just wouldn't be doing that because they, got an idea and say, let's go out and buy a few dealers.
Mhm.
So it'll be interesting to watch. And I think it's great to see that Dan Sr. has really let Junior do his thing. And I think that's a smart move. And Danny has always been a very, very smart guy.
So Frank, we're running out of time, but I want to just kind of move down the alphabet. Um, and our old friend Larry White at Toshiba won the Best Male Executive Award, Frank Award, this year um, at our gala. So we've talked to Larry a few times this year. I think we've talked about everything from tariffs to thermal printing and software services. But uh, tell us a little bit of your thoughts about Larry and what he's doing and has done over at Toshiba.
Well, Larry, he's had I would say a brilliant career at Toshiba, quietly. Nothing, that jumps out. But in our preparation to convey the results of our survey this year to the clients who supported by offering their dealers free subscription to the report if they would participate in the survey, and Toshiba was one of them. Now, we've been doing this for years, and so we have a history on all these companies and what they've done. What he has done is brilliant. 5 years ago, the average Toshiba dealer in our survey is doing 4 million. In our most recent survey, they were at 11 million. Now, this is a company that doesn't have the broadest product line in the industry, but they find other ways and other products to bring on to kind of fill it out, and the dealers have embraced it. And they've shown their dealers that don't give up on A3. You can take market share from other dealers.
Mm-hmm.
And they've helped them do that. And it's obvious. The numbers are there. They bear them out. Obviously, the dealers think a lot of him because they voted like hell for him as executive of the year. That
Right.
wouldn't happen without Toshiba dealers stepping up in big numbers. So my hat's off to Larry.
The thing that got my attention, and I think we've written about it and we'll continue to write about it in terms of improved profitability, Frank, is the label, the label printing and the
Yes.
thermal side. Very intriguing, and it'll be interesting to see how many dealers embrace that diversification trend, this year and going forward.
The good thing about Larry, he's embedded into the Toshiba way of doing business. It just seems it became part of their culture, and he's been there for so long. They're going to help dealers. They're going to work with dealers.
So Frank, there's several more names obviously on our people watch list for this year. I encourage our readers. We'll put up a link to go online and take a look at the coverage. Appreciate your time today, and we will see you next week, my friend.